Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another amazing episode of Doing It 365 with yours truly, Sir Influential, out of Flags 365. And it's a fantastic sunny Saturday morning, bright and early. It's 10 o'clock. I'm feeling amped and hyped. I'm ready to have another fantastic, engaging conversation with another amazing person out of the Afro-Caribbean community right here in London, in the UK. But before we go ahead, I have to do this. Today's episode has been sponsored by an amazing Black-owned company called This Is Moscato's Life. Let me see if I can see that there. They've sent this lovely, amazing bottle of pink Moscato, and it's so well packaged. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is amazing. So folks, make sure you head over to www.moscato.life to purchase your wines and Moscatos. Oh my, listen. Elegance, amazing. For those of us who are going to be celebrating special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, proposals, graduations, you name it, Moscato.life has the wines for you. And this one, called the Moscato Rosé Asturia Fashion Victim, is perfect. Smooth, rich, delicious. Get it, folks, and enjoy it. So that is that there. And make sure you're following them on Instagram at This Is Moscato.life. Now, my guest for today is someone very close to the community. He's done a lot of youth work. He's done a lot of outreach. He's even been able to be an international representation for excellence when it comes to football. He has played for a variety of teams, and he's grown up right here in the heart of South London, aka Brixton. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you today my guest, Ricky Shakes. Welcome, brother. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm all good, man. And yourself? How you doing?
I am amazing. I'm fantastic. I am blessed. It's such a pleasure to have you here on the stage today because you are somewhat of an amazing story that people need to know about, people need to share, people need to understand. So, you're a footballer, you're a PT, you're a soca lover, you're a carnival goer, but we want to get through the history properly and really get to appreciate and understand your journey. So tell us, Ricky Shakes, where were you born, your family background, and how did you get into football?
Okay, well, you know what? First of all, obviously the sponsor with the Moscato, I just wanted to say, you know what? I have to purchase a bottle because you said for
Please
celebrating birthdays, because my birthday's on Monday. So I've got to try and pick up a bottle before Monday so I celebrate, you know what I mean?
Make sure.
Yeah.
If they're watching now, make sure. So we will try our best to sort that out for you.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, no, obviously. So I was born in Brixton,
Yes.
you know, in King's College Hospital. My mum was born in Trinidad. So I'll explain it from the
Okay.
start. So my mum was born in Trinidad and she moved over to England, but she moved to Manchester. So she moved to Manchester. So she moved to Manchester at the age of 10. So she moved to Manchester. I lived over in Manchester, and with my nan brought her over, obviously because of work. She had work over. She was a nurse. My nan was a nurse at the time, so she moved over here, you know, and bring my mum over. And then obviously she had my older brother. So my older brother was born in Manchester, and my uncle and auntie born in Manchester. And then my mum had the opportunity to have a job in London, so that's when she come over to London. Right, so then she come over to London, And then that's when I was born. So I was born in London, and my older brother was Mancunian. Okay, so my mom's a Man United. So my mom's a Man United supporter. So that's why people might think, why is she a Man United supporter? But she lives in
Supporter.
London. But
Exactly.
they don't know the history
History.
where she was grew up in Manchester and then come over to London to work.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. That
Yeah.
makes total sense. Interesting. That is interesting. So, are you a Man United supporter? Because
No,
sometimes when you're growing up, your parents dictate what team you support. Or did you ever support Man United?
never, never.
Okay.
I'm an Arsenal supporter. So,
Right. The
so
right team. I wish I had my
yeah,
Arsenal scarf right now.
right. So, but remember back in the days where Arsenal originated from South London when they used to
Yes.
share with Crystal Palace.
Yes.
So that's what made me an Arsenal supporter. So everyone thinks, why are you an Arsenal supporter but you live in South London? I'm like, but it started from where they was in South London,
South
and
London. All right. You're
I've just
teaching the
kept with
history
them.
now.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
so I've just kept up with them and just carried on supporting them. You know.
Amazing. 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 So, how was that like though? Because you're growing up now in the 90s in London, in South London. What was that like? How was that? Because obviously we've had the Ringrose generation come over now. They've settled down. They've had children. And now their children are experiencing London now as second generation or third generation,
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean people, Afro-Caribbean people. What was that like? And how did you navigate that and get that love for football?
You know what? I think it was one of those ones where my dad used to play football. So
Wow, okay.
right, so my dad's Guyanese. So my dad was born in
Yes.
Guyana, and
Okay.
obviously he come over here. So his parents bring him over here.
I'm
Same
with you.
situation. They find work over here, and they come over here himself. And when
Yes.
he was a youngster, he played for Crystal Palace.
See there now.
Right.
See, all right.
So he played for Crystal Palace, and I've always just loved the game of football. You know what I mean? And my mum used to get me all these Pele videos, so I used to watch Pele on VCR and watching him do kick ups with a mango.
VCR.
And
Hold on. You see, I have to stop, because enough people don't even remember VCR, those big thick cassettes, and you push them into the box and you show it on that was the original DVD.
yes,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, continue.
exactly.
This is interesting.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? There was no downloading thing or nothing like that. You know what I mean? It was one of the ones where the VCR tape, you put it in, and my mum got me watching it, And from there, I just felt the love of it. Just felt the love of it. He inspired me to, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna start kicking a ball now,
Yes.
and it just all started from there, And then obviously, my mum and him break up, but my mum always got me into it with the football business,
With the football.
Yeah, so she saw that I was passionate in the football, and she was taking me to Sunday league clubs, Saturday league clubs to go and play, and she used to come and watch me.
Amazing. Amazing. So that must have been an interesting dynamic in the house, because you have a Guyanese father who plays for Crystal Palace, and then you have a Trinidadian and Trinidadian mom who is a Man United supporter. And then here you are in the middle as an Arsenal supporter. So that means the FA Cup finals, Premiership, everything must have been, watching that must have been intense, and going to the home games must have been amazing. My goodness. So parents really do influence us and really do set the tone for us, which
Definitely.
is fantastic to see. So we start playing football, Crystal Palace. What was it like then? Because I feel like now football is so different, even in the last 10 years. So for someone in the 90s, early 2000s coming through, when did you get your first big break and say, all right, cool, yeah, I'm really doing football now because this is it. I'm here. This is the team I'm playing for. Let's go.
Yeah, so I started off at Charlton. So I started off really late. Where you hear a lot of boys they've been through the academy scheme when they was 8 years old and 9 years old, like they've been at Tottenham since they was 8, or they've been at Tottenham since they
Mhm.
were 6 years old. But I started off at Charlton at the age of 15. So this was
Lovely.
this is my last year of secondary school, so 15 to 16. So I was in year 11 at the time, the start of year 11.
Okay.
So then I got to play for Charlton, and that was sort of like my first, like, I'll say professional club, as they will call it. You know, not grassroots.
Right.
So obviously, I've come from grassroots where I was playing for my school team. I went to Ernest Bevin School, so in
Okay.
Tooting,
Wicked.
Tooting Beck.
Wicked.
So I
Wicked.
went to
Wicked.
Ernest Bevin, and that's where I got picked up from Charlton
Mm-hmm.
through the school. And I used to play Saturday League for St Andrews, and they was based in Pimlico, and I played for a team on Sunday for Pimlico and Saturday for Providence, and Providence was based
Wicked.
in Clapham Junction. So just imagine I was
Up
playing
and down.
in the week. Yes, I was playing in the week for school, Saturday league and Sunday league. So there was
League.
no rest for me. You know what I mean? But I'm young, so I could do that. You know what I mean? I might not be able to do that now, but
Yeah.
back then I could play Saturday, Sunday, and in the week, and I'm fine. I can go again, keep going, keep going. You know. So then Charlton picked me up. I played for
Wicked.
Charlton for a little while, and we went off to the Milk Cup, and the Milk
Yes.
Cup is based in Northern Ireland. It's a big
Yes.
competition.
Okay.
Yeah, big competition over there, and we won the Milk Cup. You know, and that was my first competitive game where we won. You know, we was playing Man City in the finals, and it went all the way through to extra time, and it went to penalties, and we won 8-7 on penalties. You know, so you could just imagine
Intense.
intense, intense.
Intense.
After the 5 goals, it was sudden death. You know, and I was one of the guys who had to take a penalty in that sudden death period. You know, and I was nervous because that's the first time I've come to a competition and got to the finals. You know, and
Exactly.
something what means something for the club. You know, and we won the cup. Obviously, I got my medals. As you can see, I got my medals up and stuff
The
like
medals are
that.
up there.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I will show you later. I'll talk through them and stuff like that. And
Wicked.
yeah, it all started from Charlton, and then at the end, so at the end of my year 11, this is where you go into academy where you can get a scholarship. And
Right.
unfortunately, I didn't get a scholarship at Charlton, but
Oh.
what they did for me, they sent me to a place called Lillishore, and it's called the Exit Trials,
Right. I'm with you.
where all the boys who got released from clubs will go to the Exit Trials, and they will train at a facility. You'll be there for a week, so you'll train at the facility and you play loads of games, and a load of scouts will come and watch you as you're playing. There's about over, I'll probably say, 300 to 400 scouts watching. You know,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
So that's
So they're just
pressure again. So
exactly,
you've just won this amazing competition
yeah,
to then get released and then come into a next set of pressure, man.
yeah,
All like what 16, 17.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, so yeah, so obviously I went to the initial trials and everything. Played the game, you know, played my heart out because I thought, you know, this is a make or break now. You know, if I
Yeah.
want to make it in a game, I've got so many scouts watching me. You know what I mean? That's a big opportunity. You know, there's a lot of people out there who never have the opportunity where you have scouts just watching from all different types of clubs. You know, people from Ireland, people from Wales. You know, all the English clubs and stuff like that. You know, and after I finish, I come back, and 2 weeks later, I got a letter through the post, and it will have a list of clubs who are interested and want to see you. So
Mm-hmm.
when I open this letter, I'm opening this letter for me, and we name the list. The list was like long of
Long.
the amount of clubs who wanted to see me. So
Right.
so that day I had to make a choice because my mum was like, "You ain't going to all these clubs, so you know we ain't got time for that." You know, so
Which
you
one?
have to pick. Yeah, so you have to pick. So what I did, I picked 3 clubs. So I picked Bolton, Bristol City, and Barnsley. Okay,
Right. Okay.
but
Okay.
as you can hear, all those clubs are outside of London.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I
Was
was
that
willing.
deliberate though? Or
I, know what? I had London clubs as well, but
Okay.
I was willing to move, like, think outside the box.
Yes.
Don't want to be in Brixton anymore. If I want to make it, let me go out and see what it's like. And I wanted to go out there myself, and my mum was encouraging me to, go and see what's out there for you.
Yes,
And
definitely. That's
I went,
amazing.
yeah. So and I went to visit Barnsley first. Good facilities, great facilities. The players there was like very welcoming to me and stuff like that. And it felt nice. It felt nice. And then, but obviously I couldn't make a decision because that was just the one club I've seen. So
Right.
then after that, I went to Bristol City to visit them. Same again, amazing facilities. Manager was cool. All the players was cool. And I thought, okay, I'm liking this club. It was get a bit warmer for me. Where okay, I might push to here, and then my last club, Bolton, like even further. Further up north, and I've gone up there, and I don't know for some reason I just felt at home. You know,
Okay.
I felt at
That's
home, and I
good.
thought, and then
Instantly, as you got there, you just felt at home. Then that's the
instantly,
club.
instantly, I got there. And I was like, cool, yeah, I feel at home now. The manager was nice. Sam Allardyce was the manager at the time, like the first team manager at the time,
Yes.
um, and they just got promoted into the Premiership for that year as well.
That's wicked. So
So,
then
so
you get a lucky break. Yes, you
right,
come the right time.
exactly. So so when I come in, that's their first year in the Prem. So I thought to myself, what, this is my time to let me settle down. I went to go meet the landlady and landlord at the time, and they was cool. I was happy. I was happy to live there.
Wicked.
They already had a player living there already, but because obviously it was the
Okay.
summer, I didn't see him just yet until he came back.
Back. Right.
And his name was Cleveland Taylor, and he was a year older than me, so he's been there already.
Yes. I'm with you.
And the other thing was, it was a black boy as well. From Leicester. He was from Leicester, brought up from Leicester.
Right.
So I thought, you know what, I'm
Perfect.
I'm, I'm gonna feel, yeah, it's perfect because I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable now. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Where I could talk to him, he can understand my lingo, I can understand his lingo. His
This is
parents are
what
from Jamaica, so Caribbean.
everything.
So e-
Yes.
everything falls into place.
This is now something I would definitely wanted to ask you at this, especially, and I'm so glad you brought it up now. Being black, being Caribbean, having Caribbean born parents as well, going out and venturing out of London because now you're in a different environment. We know about the racism, we know about the pressures, the social pressures.
Mm.
Where did you ever experience any sort of racism or social pressures like that during your time now in Bolton? Because this is the heights of civil rights movements and everything going on. So
Yeah.
talk on that
I,
if you experienced
no,
any.
I must be honest. I didn't experience that at all. I was there, and it was just a case of just walking down the road to the shop. And 'cause it's very small. Bolton's is a very small area. You know, so I'm just walking down the shop, and there's an old lady in that, because all down there is a lot of cottages and farms. You know what I mean? So you can imagine
Yes.
the sort of people who be living in them areas. And there was a lady just walking up the road from me, and naturally to me, I feel like, okay, the pavement's kind of narrow. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe I should cross the road or give her some space and stuff like that. You know, you,
Naturally, yeah.
yeah, you just feel that naturally. So as I'm walking up and we're biting past each other and we're connecting eyes, and she just went, "Oh, good morning," and I was like, "Oh, sorry, morning, morning." Like it stunned me. I was, you know what I mean? It
Yes,
stunned me.
yes,
I was like,
yes.
"Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning." And I just went on my way and went to the shop and stuff like that. And then I told my mum when I got back, and I told my mum, and my mum said, "No, don't worry. Northerners are so friendly." I was like, "Yes, I can imagine," because my mum always said to me, "Trust me, Northerners are friendly than Southerners." From her growing up in North and moving
Yeah.
to London, she
Then
said
she saw the difference.
it's totally different. Yeah, totally different, because London is fast, fast, fast. Nobody don't really want to say hello to each other because they on a rush to go somewhere, trying to chase
Yeah.
after the bus or going to work, and. But everything up there, everything moves slow. You know, and then you see people, you greet people. Yes, good morning. How are you? Yeah, I'm fine. Blah blah blah. And you just go on your way. You go about your business. You know, so I never experienced that at all.
Amazing. That is so refreshing to hear, because sometimes when you watch the news and you hear the footballer stories, they go through a lot of pressure, a lot of tension and racial issues, and it's like sometimes you have to wonder, how do you deal with that mentally? Because if it's not in and amongst the team you're playing for, it's the fans, the area, and you're like, this is your workplace, so to speak. So
Yeah,
how do you cope with that? But it's really great to hear that you have had a very good experience in that regard. Now, I
yeah,
want to speak more on. I want to go into more detail about what it's like I said, growing up Caribbean in London now and striving for football. Because yes, in your case, mom was a Man United supporter, dad plays for Crystal Palace, but was there ever that inclining like, yo, if football no work, you're gonna have to do this? And what was that backup plan, if anything? And also, did you go back to the Caribbean at any point? Did you go back to Trinidad, or did you go back to Guyana?
yeah. So, so at the time, obviously, 15, 16, you're not really thinking of anything else but football, 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 But when I got the chance where I got my 3 year YTS, they called it at the time, living in Bolton. So
Mm-hmm.
you do your college work as you go there as well. So you're
Wicked.
training, and we have college on the Monday, half day, and then on the Thursday, full day on the Thursday. So we were doing our college work. So when I was doing college, that's when I started doing coaching leadership awards. So being a coach, and that's where I was doing my PT work. But at the time, it was level one, level two was a gym instructor. So I
Mm-hmm.
always had that, either being a coach or fitness instructor in place.
In
Where
play. Perfect.
I was thinking, if I don't make it in football, I still want to stay around it, but like in the fitness aspect or coaching
Yes.
aspect of it.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's what I had. That's what I had in mind, in place for me. And then once I did my 3 year YTS there, they offered me a pro contract. So
Wicked.
I got my first pro at Bolton,
So
for
now,
a
so
year.
that's so you're now like 20 now, 20 going on 21.
Yes, yeah.
Hey,
Thank you. Yes,
wicked.
thank you, thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
and
amazing.
then opportunity popped up for me to go play for Trinidad. Right,
Talk to us about that. How how,
right.
how does that work now? How does yeah?
Okay, so I got my pro contract at Bolton. Trinidad got in contact with me and asked me if I want to come across and play for the under 20s and the under 23s at the time. Obviously my mum heritage from Trinidad
Trinidad.
and stuff like, yeah, so born in Trinidad and stuff like that. So they've said, you know what, you can come play for us because your parents are from there. Before back then, you could go back to grandparents.
Yes.
Now it's your actual parents. We have to
Mm-hmm.
for you to be qualified. But I already had both anyway. My grandparent and my mum
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
born in Trinidad, so it didn't make a difference for me. So the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to come across for me to go across there, and I took it with two hands. I was like, yeah, I'll come out there. My mum's from
I
there,
love that.
you know.
I love
My
that.
mum brought us out there beforehand, so I've been out there beforehand to play for Carnival, so play Carnival out there. So back there, obviously, at the time I was with M2K Masquerade 2000 back in the days.
Yes.
They called it
Mm-hmm.
with the obviously rest in peace Uncle Lincoln.
Rest in peace. Rest in
Um,
peace. Yeah.
and he invited me to come and play out in Trinidad at the time because he was over there and he was designing. And because I was playing big costumes in England, playing in the King and male individual and stuff like that, playing in the gala and all that, he was
All of
like,
that.
I'm gonna design a costume when you're over there. So I said, okay, cool.
That
So
sounds
I
wicked.
I end up playing Big Mask over there, playing obviously King over there. So on the Savannah stage, the competition over there, and I went down to San Fernando and played in a competition there. When I went to San Fernando, I come third in the competition. So that another big achievement for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously they see as a British boy coming down here, you know, because when I come over, they still see me as they saw me as a foreigner.
Yes,
Right? They saw
yes.
me as a foreigner. But when they started to get to know me a bit more and they see me dance up and my lingo and my talk and stuff like that, they're like, no, he's a local. He's one of us. He's one of us.
He's
Like
one of,
they
yes.
they can
That is,
see they can see he go, yeah. No, he really got a Trini mum and his mum
yeah,
grew him up,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
And so moving on forward, I had the opportunity to go play for Trinidad in the under 23. So I flew over there and everything, and got to meet the boys and trained with the boys, and it was a different experience for me. You know, I must say it was a different experience for me, and it was an eye opener. You know,
Mm-hmm.
of being grateful of where I live. You know, because over there they don't have much. You know, they didn't have much at
Mm-hmm.
that time anyway. You know, in a case of just like something simple, football boots. You know,
Mm-hmm.
football boots are all rip up and you're not freshly new and you know didn't have all that. And facility wise, the facilities are different. You
Yeah,
know, the facilities are
exactly.
different. So changing rooms, where they're gonna shower after, just little things like that. You know, and when I was over there, so I'll tell you a story. I went over there and I come out the hotel and they say, yeah, jump on the bus, we're going to the training facility. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was already changed already from the hotel. We got down to the training facilities and it was just a field. It was a field, 2 goals up. A guy come, put cones down, and coach put the cones down and we like started training. And that time it was rainy season. So
Oh Lord,
you can just
Lord
imagine
of
the rain
rain.
pouring down, the mud just hitting me up, and I'm thinking, okay, wow, but I'm here now. So you know what I mean? I've got to prove to myself that the reason why they called me down here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And after the training, you can just imagine. So I'm wet, I'm muddy, and everything like that. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, cool. So I guess there's no shower facilities. I've got to wait until I get to the hotel. All right. So
Mm-mm.
so all the other boys there now, and I just see the local boys. They started walking off or whatever, and they start holding themselves outside someone's backyard. And I was like, what is this? What's going on here? And when it was like, yeah, shakes, come, like, hold yourself down before you get on the bus. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I just want myself, you know what? Cool. Like I'll just muck in the same as you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the one to say to be stush and you know, nah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait to the hotel, whatever. I thought, all right, cool. You know, and that was one of the experience. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my days, I'm so lucky to be from London. I mean, like be from England and live in England. You know, because these mans
Mm-hmm.
have it hard. These mans have it hard.
Exactly.
So when obviously we done that, got to the hotel, showered off, and you know had a good training session after the next day and next day after that. And once I finished and we were ready to, and my last training session, I gave one of the players my boots. You know what I mean? I said, you know
Straight
what,
up. I
play
love that.
have my boots, you
I
know,
love
because
that.
I knew once I get back home, like we had sponsors and Adidas sponsors was sponsoring us and stuff like that. So I knew I was going to get a pair when I get home anyway, you know. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, I had an agent, and he's giving away boots, giving me boots as well. So, you know, the boots I had on was like probably about I don't know about 2 months old, you know. And I
So yeah,
said to the
that's still
guy,
fresh, basically.
yeah. So I was like, you know what? You can have my boots. And like they was like, no, thank you. I was like, no, thank you for having me and welcoming me
Mm-hmm.
here. You know, it's a thanks from me
Exactly.
to you, you know, because I can see the struggles what you got through. And this is just a gift from me to you, you know. And
That's a very humbling feeling, man.
from then I just had the respect from them, you know.
Wicked. That is that that for me is that sounds like a very grounding experience because here you are now, your mom's raised you as a second generation Trini in London, and she's instilled certain things in you, and then you've been able to live that and show that on your returns there, and you've been well received. And then the only a very cultured person, only a person that feels connected to their roots will do what you just done, because to give back is not always easy. And sometimes as a young person, it's easy to say, nah man, I need my boots because. So that's really a great testament to your character and to how just amazing we are as Caribbean people. And it's fantastic to hear that, because sometimes you don't know about these kind of stories, that people are getting called up from such a young age to come and represent for their country internationally. And Trinidad has an amazing football team, so that's dope. You've also played for another country internationally, which is where your dad's from, which is Guyana. And obviously, I believe you still play for them to this day on that international level.
Well, I don't know. I've retired from international level. So
okay,
so
chat
I've
to us
retired
about playing for Guyana, and some of your give us some of your special wow moments whilst playing for Guyana, because you had a good long career with them as well.
Yeah. So I'll start from the beginning of the changeover. So how I managed to change over to Guyana. So at the time, where in 2006, and Trinidad qualified for the World Cup in Germany.
Right. Yes.
So I was on standby for that. Okay. So previously, before that, I played for Trinidad, the senior team at Loftus Road against Iceland. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people remember that game when Trinidad come across and stuff like that, and a lot of people came and watched as well. And obviously, I played with like Shaka Hislop, Dwight York, Stern John, Latter P, Dennis Lawrence, Carlos Edwards, Kenwin Jones. I played with all those guys, and
serious players.
Yeah, exactly. In the Caribbean, they know them players, and when I got called up to be on standby for Trinidad, they said to me that I had to go and sign a bonus sheet. So people don't really know about this bonus sheet. Okay, so the bonus sheet was when you go over to the World Cup, what you be getting for certain rounds, right?
Right.
And this was an eye opener. The amount of money that was pumped in to the World Cup and the football industry, it was crazy, And I saw that firsthand, where I'm signing a sheet just in case I go over for the World Cup. If I get selected, if someone gets injured, then they'll call me up and I have to fly over straight away. And when I mean it was ridiculous money, where it was like just 10 grand just to be there. 10 grand
Crazy.
just to be there. And then
just there.
And the money was just going up and up. The group stages, you come out the group stage, you get this amount. Quarterfinals, this amount. Semi-finals, finals. So you could just imagine the numbers going in my head. I'm like, whoa.
Life changing, basically, especially at that time.
Right, exactly. And but nothing happened of it and everything like that. And I didn't hear from Trinidad for over 4 years. And then when I started playing for Ebbsfleet at the time, that was in the National League, and one of the federation GFF from Guyana watched me play, and he approached me after the game, and he said to me, I know who you are. I know you played for Trinidad, and it's been 4 years past. Would you like to come and play for Guyana in the World Cup qualifiers? So I was like, okay, yeah. Well, if you can make this work, then I'm happy to come across. Yeah, I'm happy to come across. Represent. My other side. My dad's side. And
how did your dad feel about that?
You know what? He was over the moon. He was over the moon. You know what I mean? He was. You know how they get on the boast to their friends and
all
this. You know what I mean? Like it was one of them ones where he was never around, but he found himself to be around when the time comes.
Time comes, and this is a big moment. This is a big moment,
right? So he's all happy and yeah. Oh, my son now, he comes to play for Guyana, blah blah blah, and everything. So I was like, okay. So then what happened? Guyana had a little friendly over here. So they was coming over here and they played against Cray Wanderers in Dulwich Hamlets ground. So
Dope.
so they had a couple of the local players flew over and we played a game and stuff like that. And I did very well. And that was my first impression to the players and the coaching staff. And then from there it was just a outbreak from there.
Mhm.
And went to so then 2009, 2010, I flew over there in the World Cup qualifiers and we had to play against Barbados, Bermuda.
Okay,
And
yeah, Bermuda have a good team.
yes. So just imagine. So now I'm flying now. So I'm flying. So we got to play home and away. So you can just imagine
Okay.
the amount of countries I'm going to internationally.
True.
So I'm going into Barbados, flying in there. Then we have a little free time so I can go adventure out and
Mm-hmm.
sightsee and stuff like that in Barbados. Then after we had to fly to Bermuda. And
Mm-hmm.
as they always say about the triangle flying over to Bermuda and that. Don't get lost in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
triangle and all them, So I flew over there, and that's when I scored my first international goal for them.
Wicked. Wicked. So
So I
what
scored
year
my
was that?
first. That was year 2010.
Oh,
Year 2010.
yes,
So
yes,
yeah,
yes. Wicked, wicked,
scored my
wicked.
first international. We was losing 1-0 at the time, and I remember for what I come on and I scored a header at the back post, and it made it 1-1. So we drew the game. You know,
True decay. Wicked.
yeah, and
Wicked.
then and then
Woo.
then we had to go play against Trinidad,
Oh
right?
God,
So
no.
yes, so this is one of my moments now. So here's the story. So we had to go play against Trinidad. So we had to play two legs, right? And
Mm.
we had to win one out of the two to qualify to the next round,
Yeah.
right? And so we played them at home. So we played them at home, and obviously you could just imagine the headlines coming up. Yeah, Ricky Shates coming to play against Trinidad, his old international team, blah blah blah, and all that.
Mm.
So there's pressure on me now. There's
Pressure.
pressure on me.
Pressure.
But in hindsight, I'm thinking, now you know what? I'm gonna show you what you've got missed. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
Exactly.
what. So I had to play that game. But at first, you can just imagine if I told this story, you can imagine what my mum's thinking now. You know what I mean? But my mum always said to me, you know what? It's their loss. Go and do what you got to do. At the end of the day,
Simple.
they didn't pick you. Cool. You move on. You move forward. Go show them why they should have had you. So
Exactly.
the day we played them, right? The head date. It was on the 11th of the 11th, 2011.
My God. See,
Yeah.
Chano. Yeah.
So we called it Judgment Day. Yeah, we're saying
Judgment.
this is gonna be the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're playing now at our home ground, and then a ball get over the top. I was playing right wing at the time. Ball went over the top. I went chasing after it. Went to go and put a cross in. They blocked it. Went out for a corner. Right, went out for a
Mm-hmm.
corner for us. So my position on the corner, I'm at the edge of the box. I'm right at the back of the box now. So our corner gets crossed in. Crossed in. One of their players headed it out. I'm on the edge of the box. He heads it out and it comes out to me. Yeah. As soon as it come out to me, I volleyed it back in. Straight. Go.
Goal. Bam.
Go
Place,
straight away.
place it up though.
Oh, mate, when I mean the Guyanese fans went crazy,
Mm-hmm.
crazy. All the players come right up to me. Yeah, I'm screaming as well, going crazy. And even the manager, like I've run up. The manager's like calling me. I ran up to him. And I just jumped on him, hugged him. And it was one of them ones
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I
yes,
love that.
I showed them that this is what you're missing. You know.
Exactly.
And yeah, that was one amazing moment what happened for me,
Bruv,
and then
just
we carried
hearing
on.
that story is making me feel like I was there, and this is how many years ago. That's wicked. I
Yeah,
love that.
and then second half come now. So we win in 1-0. Second half come. And then it was another corner again. And I was at the edge of the box and they've cleared it now. As they've cleared it out over my head, I've gone running back onto the ball. It was going to the halfway line, running back on the ball. I've turned around, crossed it back in with my left foot. And as I crossed it back in, it managed to hit one of our players, Leon Court, and he's free inside the box. He just chested it down and volleyed it in the roof of the net. You could just listen. What I'm gonna do after this show, I'm gonna show you the video clip, because it's still out there, of
Wicked.
After that goal went in, where we sprinted around, and you can imagine the pitch is inside a cricket pitch, so you can imagine how big it is, isn't it?
Big.
You got big, so we just went sprinting around, making up noise and celebrating, blah blah blah. And then,
it's funny, because when I hear the celebrations now, I'm not realizing that. Hold on, the way and how long we would celebrate for in the Caribbean in something like this is going to be longer than, if you were playing, if this was in London and it happened, because it's in London or the UK, you ain't got time to really celebrate that long. Like, you're gonna celebrate, but you can't go all out like that until the end. So it's just this is wicked.
Because the thing is, you can imagine you got someone with the steel pans, you got someone with the drums, exactly. And that's all going around. The favelas
so
are swinging.
Can't play. Yeah. Wicked.
You know what I mean? So so you have all that, and then obviously the referee have to wait for all the players to come back on the field to start kickoff.
Yeah.
And so the game continued. Then they scored, made it 2-1, but then that was it. So the whistle blew for full time. Yes, everybody went crazy. The whole fans and everything like that, because it went down in history for us to qualify out of that round. First time ever down in history that Guyana went into the next round. And they call it was the final 8. So there was the final 8, and in that round we played against Mexico, Costa Rica, and El Salvador.
Okay.
So all them countries. So just imagine I'm going to them countries, I'm visiting. So we played against Mexico, and I played that at the Azteca Stadium, and there were 90,000 watching. So you can
legendary
imagine.
Moment.
A legendary moment. I'm walking down the Azteca, and you can just see down the side of the walls. You can see all the teams they played from way back when. You know what I mean, 1960s and all that. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm one of the countries who's played at the Azteca, so we're going to be on this board soon. So that there was just crazy. Another moment. Obviously playing against El Salvador and 50,000, and that's Central America, and you can just imagine Central America. They say racist, racist countries, Central America. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, how's this gonna play out? You know what I mean? You think to yourself, okay, well, a lot of black guys coming into the Central America country now.
Exactly.
How are we going to get protected? Are we going to be protected or stuff like that? So we've gone down there, and when I mean the stadium was just mad. Mad. I've gone now, walking through the tunnel. As I come out the tunnel, there's like cages protecting from us and the fans. So you just imagine the cages going around and the fans are behind it, like they're animals. It's crazy.
What?
Yeah, that's how their stadium's set up. And then I'm seeing a lot of police and that surrounding the pitch, and they got all shotguns, big guns, and I'm thinking, raw, am I really playing over here? Like, what am I?
A football
what am I
you can play or a Sparta, you there?
Right, exactly. And we drew against them. We drew 2-2 against them, and their fans started celebrating and clapping us off the pitch. And it was a good moment. It was a nice moment.
Nice.
They was happy for us to be there, and that from us thinking, oh yeah, is it going to be a negative vibe, where it just turned into a very positive vibe. And that was it.
We thank God for that, because that sounds like it
Yeah.
could have gone completely the other way if
Mm,
we did win. So
mm,
for me now, that's kind of like, boy, we don't even want to win, because if we win, are we gonna make it back to
yeah,
the bus?
exactly.
So
Exactly. Exactly.
it's so, when sometimes when you listen to the stories, you really realize that footballers don't just stay fit for a living. They don't just run up and down a pitch. There's so many different elements, and the psychological challenges and the mental challenges and the emotional, complexities of it all
Yeah.
is really fascinating, because here you are now, you're a Guyanese Trini, um citizen, basically,
Yeah.
and you've played for Trinidad. They've let you
Mm,
go. You've come now, been blessed with the opportunity to play for Guyana, gone back
mhm.
now as a Guyanese football international footballer, and won against Trinidad. And then now you've gone to other countries, and you're seeing now this is another side to it where, raw,
Yeah.
I'm not in my normal domain terrain. Like, anything can go wrong here. So it's a test of character. It really
Yeah.
is a test of character. Um, do you think then, though, that more British players should play for their country of heritage? Because we're now in this day and age, we see people like Zaha playing for his home country, Sterling, what's my man's name? And he played for Liverpool. Daniel Sturridge, so on and so
Yeah.
forth. We've seen more and more, but do you think there should be more, and should it be both the men's and the women's team as well doing that? Like, do you think
Yeah.
more of us
Most.
should play for our countries of heritage?
Yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely. You know what I mean? If the opportunity is there, where the way how I look at it, I looked at it as, you got to think realistically. Yeah, you got to think, okay, am I really gonna go play for England? Like, am I really gonna make it to go play for England? And you got to think of it as in where the position I was in at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't playing in the Premiership, so they're not really looking for people underneath the Premiership. And
Exactly.
you have a lot of people out there who are probably waiting on England, and they're going to keep waiting on England and still waiting on England, where they probably can have opportunity and represent, their heritage, where their mum's from, where their dad's from, and they have the opportunity. And another thing where you go visit the other side of the world, because
Exactly.
you have that side of it, and that's another mental side of it as well, where you think to yourself, okay, like you can understand the poverty, what's going on with that side of the world, and how you have it so good over here, where you go over there, your mind starts thinking, you start changing your ways of, you start learning. Maybe
Exactly.
when I come over here, I should be more settled down. I should be more easy, and be more responsible in that sense as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because these guys hasn't got it easy like me. And
Exactly.
that's another thing. So it's a learning curve at the same time as well. You're learning, learning different cultures, learning from where your mum comes from, where your dad comes from, what the struggles they had to go through. Because
Exactly. Speak
if
is
you if
true.
you if you imagine where, okay, things are, maybe they've improved a bit over there, but when your mum was growing up over there, it was never like this. It
Yeah.
was worse. It was worse. So you go, right, my mum really come through the struggles and making sure she's providing for me. So then it teaches me to make sure I could provide for my kids, what she had to go through, and then obviously the little struggles we go through is not as much as what your parents
Not
went
as
through,
much.
but
Exactly.
you have to make the effort for you to provide for your kids.
Most certainly. And it's when you think of it as well, because a lot of times when you see the football campaigns or the ads from those countries for their best players, they're playing barefoot, like you said before, they're playing in the lowest quality footwear, but they're so talented. The natural talent is
Mm,
amazing. So it does make you, as of someone that's born in the UK, stop and think, hold on, what excuse do I have? If these
yeah,
people can do it and they're so talented at this level, imagine if they had my opportunities as well. So it just pushes you harder, and again, it makes you want to almost support them as well, because it's like, you know what, I'm gonna give you my strength, because you're in, if you're in that environment and can be so amazing, it's only that you're feeding into me.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
great. Let's speak on now family life and playing internationally, because now by this time now you're in your mid-20s, you've probably started to date, have children, um other probably siblings have come along now as well. How are you juggling the family life
Hmm.
and then playing internationally? Because you're saying you're in El Salvador one week, next month you're in Bermuda, you're in
Yeah.
Barbados, you're here, there, and obviously that means you're not in the UK, because surely you're not flying back to the UK to then come back there. So you're probably staying in Guyana, or you're staying in the Caribbean and just working. So how was that like, managing that? Because you've now spent a significant amount of time away from your dad and your mom, who were instrumental in your development.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard, but it was one of the ones where, I had to think, if this is what I've got to do to make it, then I got to go and do it. And then when I do come back home, I spend that quality time with them. It's
Mhm.
not where I come back home and I go gallivanting here and here and they don't see me again because in next week time I'm going to fly off again. So it was
Right.
one of those times where as I've got my time here, my time is with them. My time is with my family. At the time I had my first child, my daughter, in 2007. Um, and I was at Brentford at the time. So I was playing for
Mhm.
Brentford at the time for a season, and that there was very humbling. My first, and at very young, I was 23 at the time.
Right.
So it was responsibilities now, and I remember when I was over in Guyana and I was speaking to one of my teammates over there. He was the captain, Chris Nurse, and he was saying to me, "Oh, why don't you have like if you get the opportunity to play in the States, play in the MLS, like would you go over there?" And I was like, "No, not now because I've got responsibilities." You know,
Mhm.
so
Right.
that there was the mind thing. I was thinking different now. Where before, if I didn't have my daughter, yeah, I would have gone. I would have gone. I would have tried out in America, and have
Right.
the opportunity. But my circumstances have changed now. I've got responsibilities. I've got to be there as a father, as a father figure
Exactly.
to her. And
Exactly.
I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna find a club, it has to be local now. I don't want to be too far away, and
That
that's
makes
where
sense.
that's where the change was for me. Where okay, I'm already doing the journeys as playing internationally, but playing can I try and change of playing locally so I'm closer to my daughter, and that's what it was for me. So that's where the change where I went from playing for when I got released from Brentford, I went to Edfleet and Edfleet in Kent.
Right.
And that's what made me change to I wanted to be local now to be closer to my daughter,
Makes sense.
see her go through and from there. And it was a good choice. It was a good choice. I'll never regret it. I'll never regret it. I did it for
Definitely.
a good reason, and my mum could see the reason why I did it as well. Obviously my dad wasn't around. Once he left, and then I'll see him now and again. He'll pop up now and again, and I just wanted to be a good uh, role model to my daughter.
Daughter. Exactly. Definitely. Definitely. And I feel like as well, by now, you've now seen how you can navigate. You've probably done it. You've done a fair bit of international play, so you've gotten some accolades under your belt. So it's easy for you now to say, "All right, cool. Well, I've gotten some accolades under my belt. I've gotten a certain amount of financial leverage as well. I can take some time, probably take a pay cut, and just be a family man and really be there for the formative years of my daughter's life. So like from birth till 5, 6, 7, and then really be there and be instrumental. So that's amazing. That is um again testament to character, upbringing, and really showing through how we still keep family and home and community at the heart of everything that we do. So now,
Yeah.
how do we transition to now the coaching and the fitness? And have you ever considered starting your own football team or your own club? And would you go back to Guyana or Trinidad to coach or train anybody, or you know, do any works out there, or are you doing any works with those countries at the moment?
Yeah. So when with the coaching, so what happened was, so I signed for at Boreham Wood, so that was my last club at the time, and I signed for them in 2013. So
Mm-hmm.
2013, I signed for them, and I signed a contract, and I had a training session, first training session. So my first training session, I fully ruptured my Achilles tendon. So my Achilles tendon snapped. Yeah, and
Mm,
it was in a fitness exercise. We were doing a yo-yo test, so as a bleep test. So doing a
yeah.
bleep test, I've pushed off and just heard bang. You know, I'm looking around thinking, right, someone kicked me or is it cold or anything like that. No one's around me. Everybody ran off, and I'm just there on the floor, and I didn't know what happened. You know, and this was my first major injury I've ever had for my career,
Oh,
and that
yeah.
was at the age of 30 now. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's gonna happen? Like, is this gonna finish me off? Do I have to retire? Because they always say the two worst injuries you can have is your Achilles tendon or your ACL.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, where am I gonna get back into it? Am I gonna get back? Am I gonna get back into it? So
Yes.
so I went to go and see a specialist and a surgeon in St John's Wood. So obviously, big up St John's Wood. You know what I mean? Like they done me very
Yes.
nice.
Yes. Remember.
Um, and had the operation. I was in a cast 2 weeks, and then I was in a boot cast. But just remember, I've just signed a contract. Yeah, I've just signed a contract. So my season
Exactly.
hasn't even started yet. This is
Started. Yeah.
pre-season. So I'm thinking also, okay, so what's going to happen now? Are they going to rip up my contract and say that's it for me? You know,
Mm.
but they you know they was blessed. I must say they was blessed, and they made me.
Thank God.
I done my rehab with them and everything like that, and got towards the end of the season where I was back on my feet and I was walking up and down and stuff. And then they said to me, would you like to do some coaching? So this is where the coaching come in aspect.
Chin coming now.
So I said, okay, I don't mind. Like who would I be coaching? So they said, well, we've got academy scheme down here, 16 to 19-year-old boys. So I said, okay, I don't mind getting into it. So that's where the coaching aspect came into it,
Comes in.
where I've come out of, being injured and I've pushed myself into the coaching field. And then once I was able to play, so the following season, so I've recovered, fully recovered. They offered me a new contract for next year. So
Right.
they've had the faith in me to give me another contract.
Subtracting. Wow.
Bearing in mind they've hardly seen me in the previous year because I've been injured for 9 months.
Exactly.
So the
Mhm.
following year, I played every single game, and we got promoted that year. So we went to the playoffs and we got promoted that year. So that's one of the medals up there as well.
One of the
Yeah.
medals.
So
Exactly.
my promotion medal, and then I was doing the coaching with them as well. So because I
So you're
was on site
covering.
anyway. Yes, I was on site already. So I was training in the morning and then coaching in the afternoon. So and then with the pace boys, they call it the pace scheme. There's over 500 boys in the pace scheme, right?
Mm.
So you can just imagine 16 to 19-year-olds over 500. So I was thinking, okay, so how does this work out? So
The
I'm
testosterone is all over the place.
right. I'm thinking, well, so how many bodies am I gonna coach? I don't know, until
Hmm.
they come. But they had a structure where it was across 3 sites. They had a college site in Boreham Wood, college site in Barnet, and then another college site in Collindale. And then they rotate. So they'll have lessons and have training, but obviously they rotate round. So I'm
That's
coaching
wicked.
up to 20 boys a session and stuff like that. So that's where I started learning, doing the coaching aspect and helping them out. And
Mm-hmm.
it was good, and it was good for the boys as well, because they're looking up at us because we're first teamers coming to coach them, and they've come into the academy to try and be a first teamer.
Teamer.
So
So
it
they're getting the
so it,
raw, authentic. Yes.
yes, so it all made sense. So where my chairman at the time of the what he was trying to do, because the boys are there and they're looking up at me, and they're going to listen because they're like, I want to be in your position. I want to play
Exactly.
where you are. So, I'm saying to them, go ahead, take my spot. I want you to take my spot, because I'm getting to an age where, yeah, I'm finishing, but I want to make sure you take my spot before I finish. I know there's a replacement as I'm leaving my path.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it was really good and very inspiring. And there's one boy, I must say on here, big up, a guy called Zorba Thomas. He just signed a big deal with Huddersfield. He's got a
Wicked.
four-year
Lovely. Big
four-year
him up.
deal. Yeah, 4-year deal. And he was one of the boys where I coached him when he first came when he was 17 years old. He's 21 now, 20 going on 22. And I coached him when he first came through the academy scheme at 17, and coached him all the way through. And then he came alongside and started playing with the first team, the last
There
the
we
last
go.
2 years. And we was in car school, so we was traveling in together. And it was the most amazing feeling when he got that contract, where he called me up as soon as he signed the deal. He called me up and he was like, Shakesy, you never guess what, mate. Like, I've signed this contract. Like, none of the players know. Only the coaching staff knew about it, and none of the other players
Mm.
knew about it. But he called me because he was like, no, like, Shakesy, I must thank you because you grounded me, and you knew where it gets to time. Because I was one of them coaches where I was a very calm coach. I wasn't one of them coaches who were shouting on the pitch. But if I feel you're doing something wrong and you keep repeating, you're not listening, then I start shouting, and then they start listening. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
can't mess with Shakesy. Like, you've really ticked him off now,
Mm-hmm.
and I was
Exactly.
I was happy to know that I inspired him, to keep pushing on and keep driving and driving, and he's finally reached his goal now. So now it's up to him to continue his journey.
Fantastic. That is, again, great testimonies. And that's the kind of stories and inspiration that we need. And especially in your particular instance, you're an international player. You've played, you've had some very highlighting and special moments. You've entered teams and they've gone to the Premier League straight away, and you've added to that. Then you've gone and played internationally twice. So you've played around the
Mm.
world, and so you've seen football at different angles and aspects. So your knowledge, your experience, your know-how, when you apply it to your own playing and then to your coaching, you're probably one of the best coaches around because of the vast experience and knowledge that you have. And it's just, and then again, because you're so relatable, because you're from the area, you're from the era, it's amazing. Another question I wanted to ask you, seeing
Yeah.
as you grew up Caribbean, and you mentioned the steel pan and the soca and stuff, I know camaraderie is important and togetherness is important. So when you're with your teammates, your colleagues, so to speak, did you ever introduce them to your to that side of you, the Caribbean side, the soca, the side, the roti, the doubles, the this, the that? Was that easy? Because obviously you spend a lot of time with these people, you go out together, you
Mm.
share moments, you bond. They basically become your second family. So did you bring them into that world or to that aspect of you? And if so, how easy was that?
Yeah, you know what? I was like, as they call me, they call me Dancer Shakes, because when we used to go on night outs and stuff like that, I was always the one who was all dancing and in the middle and dancing up and everything like that. And they just knew straight away where if they saw a surrounding of people around someone, they're like, yeah, that's Shakesy in the middle, and you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Like, and I think it was from then where they was like, nah, where are you getting all this energy and all this rhythm from and everything like that? I'm like, listen, I just love music and all sorts of music. As long as the music's hitting me and the beat's hitting me, I'm just gonna dance up, you know. And
Exactly.
where, you know, where sometimes I was one of the DJs in the changing room, and
Ah,
I started inviting putting some soca in some of the, you know, the playlists and stuff like that. And someone was like, "Oh, what's this? What's this?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, listen, you come carnival, yeah, you're gonna
you
know,
see
you're
it.
gonna know,
You're gonna
yeah."
know.
And it got to a point where some of the guys was like, "No, no, Ricky, I wanna come. We're gonna come carnival." So I'm like, "Yeah, cool," because normally we have the game on the bank holiday Monday, so
Mhm.
we only had Sunday to play fun mask.
Yeah.
So so to some of the guys, it was different because they didn't know the culture. They just saw it as, oh, carnival as being on the outside of it,
Yes.
away
Yes.
out. You know what I mean? Oh, they know about Rampage, Radio One, and you know Capital Extra and all that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that to them was carnival. That to them
Yeah.
was carnival. And I was like, no, no, no. I'm gonna show you what carnival really
Beautiful.
is and where it
Yes.
really come from. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to them, listen, you don't need to worry about, because all in their mind is thinking about, okay, you know, where you have the bad boys coming on the street and barging up
Yeah.
people and all this. And I'm like, you really don't get that. When you come to my section where we do our thing, everybody's on the same vibe, on the same
Exactly.
wave. Everybody's drinking the same, everybody's dancing to the same music, everybody's dancing with one another, don't pay no mind. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, you dance with one girl, cool. You go off and dance with another girl. They don't pay no mind. You just enjoy yourself. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
as we call it, it's 2 days for us to relax and free our minds. You know, we've been
Yeah.
working all year, and those are the 2 days where we don't pay
We
no mind
have
of
that.
nothing.
We
Yeah, it's
have that.
freedom. It's freedom. You know, and where I've took them to, you know, like to a chocolate nation or whatever, and they're like, no, 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 I've got to go again. We got to go next year. We got to go next year. And that's just made it. You know, I was like, cool. Now you know what I'm dealing with. Now I know you should come across every single year and enjoy it. And then from
Enjoy
there,
yourself.
it just got to a part where, okay, when's the next one? Oh, we're going there. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, you know, this ain't it. There's Berlin Carnival, there's Trinidad Carnival.
Yeah.
So
Carnival.
that's when they started getting interested in of, raw, there's all these other carnivals going on with the same vibe. I'm like, yeah. And that's where they knew about the culture. You know, they knew a bit
And
more about it.
that's I love that because sometimes it's so easy to keep that side of you away because you're not in an industry where the majority of the people and the influential people and the decision making people are like you and are from your background. So
Mm.
for me, I was wondering, it do you feel comfortable? Is it like was it easy? And it's great to hear that it's easy and you're able to be comfortable and confident enough to share in your culture and share that aspect of you, and they received it well and they're pushing it forward. So that's wicked, man. So Ricky Shakes, this is amazing. It's been really, really, really good to really get your perspective as an international football player and as a coach and as a successful coach and as a successful black man as well. Folks, this is Doing It 365. Do remember to like, comment, and subscribe as well. Hit that subscribe button. It's down there, right down there. And make sure as well to follow Shakesy, Ricky Shakes, Shakesy Fitness on IG. And finally, before we go, what are your plans for 2021? We've seen how 2020 was.
Mhm.
You were doing a lot of your PT, a lot of your coaching, you're doing some home sessions as well. Speak more about that. And also, what are your plans for 2021 and going forward?
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, I'll say 2020, I'll say the first thing, so the blissful thing of what happened in 2020 was I had my younger little boy. So he's 9 months
Ah,
now. Yeah.
amazing.
So
Congrats.
so
Congrats. Lovely.
something good come out of 2020. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I can't fail it all down at 2020 is when
Yeah,
done and dusted. You know, because I can't forget little man. You know,
exactly.
he was born on Easter Sunday. So
Perfect. See,
even
there's a
even a
blessing
blessed
already.
day. Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, and then I have my other boy, he turned 4 on Christmas Day. So I have a Christmas
See
Day
there.
baby and an Easter baby. Yeah. So a
Mhm.
lot of people
And then
don't
you have
know
your
that.
big daughter. Yeah.
And I have my big daughter who's 13, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I was doing my fitness stuff in at home, inviting a lot of people. A lot of people were just coming on board, and I had even my brother. My brother was in Canada, and at the time he moved back over here, but he was living in Canada. And I was doing my sessions at 10 o'clock. He was up at 5 o'clock, joining in and everything like that with my fitness session. So it was a big thing. And where I was doing fitness sessions, where I was trying to do it before carnival time as well. So the 3 months before carnival, I was doing sessions and stuff like that. And then obviously with the COVID, that couldn't really happen because carnival was cancelled.
Yes.
And I hope this year I want to trying to continue with with the fitness stuff. I want to do it not online, but if you've got no choice to, I'll just continue to do it online, and just go from there really. And I at the moment I'm trying to just take it day by day, step by step, because you never know what's around the corner, right? What's going on right now. You can't. Yeah, you want to try and think you can make plans further ahead, and then the virus is messing it up for you. You know what I mean? So I just try and take it a day at a time and just plan ahead. And just if it goes on from there,
it goes off. It's wicked. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to see what else you have to offer, because the virtual sessions, I've seen them, the home training as well. And it's really nice as well because you add that personal touch and you just make it light and nice and friendly. And obviously the coaching is going well. You've got young players coming through off your coaching and going to higher heights, which is amazing. So we just got to pray that we get a carnival either the end of this year or next year for sure. We need to shake up and ready up and everything like that properly, man. So it's been a pleasure speaking to you and getting the journey from your perspective and seeing how you've navigated that and navigated it so well. Have you got any questions for me?
No, I just want to say, thanks for having me here. You're doing a good job. Just get people on board and telling them their stories and where they've been, because a lot of people out there might not know. They've seen me on the scene, but they don't really know my culture or what I've been doing. And as you said, people from my background, where I grew up in Brixton, people think, oh, Brixton's just a bad place. Nobody don't really do much from there. But for me to tell them my story, it's an insight and an eye opener for other people to think, no, you know what? There are some good trades in Brixton. There's a lot of people who come from Brixton who've done a lot of things. And and thanks to you, you got me on here telling my story. And obviously I'll be watching you do a lot more other stories, and hopefully Definitely. For you proceed and just keep going.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you very much. I love that, and it's so good to have somebody from the Caribbean come through and show the way and show people that, yo, listen, it's not easy, but this success story will give you that motivation and that drive to know, keep at it, keep going. So once again, folks, this is Doing It 365. I have to shout out the sponsors once again at www.moscato.life. Make sure you get over there and purchase your bottle of Fashion Victim Moscato Astoria. It is amazing. It's elegant. Look at that beautiful bottle. If it's your birthday coming up, make sure you order. They do very fast delivery. You can get it same day as well. And once again, the IG is moscato.life and the website is www.moscato.life. Thank you very much for this bottle. I'm going to enjoy this. This is amazing. Sip it nice and slowly. Any occasion, any reason, look after yourself. This has been Doing It 365. I want to say special thanks to Ricky Shakes. Thanks for coming on. Don't forget, folks, to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.